to yet another edition of Alpha Bytes, a fabulous concept created by District Governor Sandeep Agarwala and District Court. The concept is very simple and very clear. I don't know why nobody has thought about it. It's communication between Rotarians, amongst Rotarians, builds friendship, goodwill, and here we are talking about Alpha Bytes. Today, I am in a conversation with a very interesting guest. Dr. Saroj Verma has been an academician for the last 3 decades and continues to guide students till date. And she's excelled in basketball. You represented both national and international championship, which is amazing. Then she decided in favor of academics and pursued a master in economics, followed by PhD. Has been a professor at National College. She was sent by the board abroad twice overseas. One is to University of Monash in Melbourne and to the US to UNCA for a teaching assignment. She's been invited to present various papers at international conferences. And Dr. Saroj feels that she's worked all her life for a noble cause, that is education, but she still feels much more needs to be done. So that's why Rotary. And in the Rotary, she's currently the president of Rotary Mumbai, downtown Sealand. And here we are. So Saroj, the International Avenue of Service projects, should it be scrapped for smaller clubs?
No, I don't think they should be exposed to everything that Rotary offers, because after all, the smaller clubs are learning.
Yep.
And after all, you always grow small.
So what if you were bequeathed with $100 million worth of money? What kind of projects would you have? What would you do with that kind of money? From a Rotary perspective, not your personal wealth.
Good, you clarified that. Well, to imagine such a big amount itself is a very difficult. But what I also feel is, as you said in the Rotary context, is that according to me, and not just because I'm an educationist, but I believe in education otherwise too, that education, investment in education has a ripple effect.
Sure.
And the maximum ripple effect is when you make an investment in education. So not only for, I would like to have a uniform primary education for children in the country, and also adult education, not just for women, but also for men. I feel that education makes a base, and it comes before health, because if you have education, you also understand how important health is. So that's how I would do education projects where everyone is kind of, let's say, educated.
Excellent. And so my follow-up question is, what do you feel about the impact of elections in Rotary 3141 district, and what should be the change, if any?
So I have been fairly new in Rotary, okay, and I've seen 2 or 3 elections in these years. What I've found is, through elections, you're choosing the person who's going to be at the helm of affairs, okay? And therefore, capability becomes a very important factor to determine. And so the process of election should be that you're able to choose the best. It should not be based on things like gender or things like your religion.
Correct, absolutely.
Or your language. I think those things, at least for those higher posts, those things are absolutely immaterial. Now, I would suggest that the biodatas of the candidates should be given to the people who have to vote much in advance.
Absolutely.
A second thing what I want is that there has to be some kind of, a fact-finding process, so that whatever people write in their biodata,
it's like a verification.
To check the veracity of those facts is very important. I could be writing, I've done 1,000 projects. Where have I done? How have I done?
So that's again a professor.
That's
again a suspicious professor saying that everything is not good.
Yeah, because you have to be so fair when you evaluate your students, and I am looking at all this from that perspective, that otherwise, you could be giving very good marks to a person who's written maybe some stories in the answer.
Yeah.
So you need to be very good at your
So I get that perspective.
Process,
so I'm not going to put you in a spot.
Mm-hmm.
If you were saying that you are going to be DG, what would you change in the current thing in the district?
there is a big if over there, which makes it a very hypothetical
Yeah,
question.
of course it is.
Yes,
If wishes were
but
horses.
but never say no, right?
Yep.
And so what I feel is, if I were to be a DG, possibly I would, like to tackle the problems of, say, politics, corruption, because I would like to see Rotary it's an organization where you want to be associated with it, and I somehow would find it very difficult to stay on if I continue to see the level of corruption and the level of bad politics, and groupism, etc.
I understand.
So that is what I would really like to
Fair point.
work on.
So now moving on.
And if you make me the DG, I'll do that.
Fair point. So that's with the collective wisdom, I think, of a lot of Rotarians and the presidents of various clubs and the respective clubs. Moving on, should we strengthen our current projects or should we introduce newer projects? What's your thoughts on that?
Who doesn't like to introduce new things? But that does not mean, so while we are introducing new things, new ideas, new projects, it is very important to, to continue to look after your already established projects, strengthen them in many ways. I mean, whether they require, let's say, repair, whether some kind of better facilities, some maintenance, all that must go on. Now, all that will come if there is a continuity of vision in your club. So it shouldn't be that, okay, 1 year the president comes, starts something new, and then it is forgotten. Because you're not only, you're doing a lot of damage because you're investing so much of money, energy, human resources,
Sure.
and it lasts only for a year and then it's forgotten. Now, that is not the best way to invest,
Fair point.
right? Yeah.
And again, another follow-up question is on the lines of this, that what should be our next thrust area once polio is eradicated? From a Rotary standpoint,
So, you see, we've got a fairly good success
Sure.
in eradication of polio.
Yeah.
And I think we've already taken that step of eradicating malaria. And I think we must focus and concentrate on that, because I remember in the 1970s, I think it became a failure, right? It was a failure. They did try to do that. But what is going wrong, I think, is that one, we are too, we take things for granted. When there is awareness, people don't really absorb that, maybe because, again, they take it
Sure.
for granted. And the municipal corporations, and not just in Mumbai, I think all over the country, they are complacent. Till the time something really goes wrong, they're not going to take a step. And it has to be a multi-pronged strategy.
Of course.
And the municipal corporations have to play a very, very important role over
And
there.
Rotary could be the catalyst in supporting that.
Absolutely.
Very interesting point.
Yes.
And another question in my mind is, currently we talk about fellowship. There is fellowship at the club level. But there is another aspect of now many clubs going outstation. It could be, for example, from Mumbai to Alibag or overseas. What do you think about such fellowships? Should they be had once in a year because it increases camaraderie among the members, etc.? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so in fact, we just had one. We went to
Interesting.
Pondicherry, and that's when I actually realized that it is so important to move away from your place of residence, because that's when you're getting all your time, with
to know each other.
Yeah, to know each other. So you bond, you exchange ideas, you with each other. So I think it gives you a lot of time to be with each other, and I think you make friends maybe who last
lifetime friends. Yeah.
So that's a very, so in fact, even in this trip, I had suggested that short holidays or staycations.
Yep.
We could work on, so that we could go periodically.
Okay.
I think once a year is too little. At least twice a year.
So your choice. If you had more staycations, more time spent,
yes,
outstation is great. That would help better command. So, and finally, I've just heard while we were sitting on the sideline that you are a great singer. So I'm not going to leave this conversation of Alpha Bytes without you singing whatever you feel like. One stanza, one line, whatever comes to your mind. That's it.
आपकी नजरों ने समझा प्यार के काबिल मुझे दिल किए धड़कन ठहर जा, मिल गई मंजिल मुझे, आपकी नजरों ने समझा.
Fabulous. And with
Thank you.
that, Rotary की नजरों में Alpha Bytes से beautiful कोई नहीं समझ सकता. The lens which Alpha Bytes has given for Rotarians, amongst Rotarians, is fabulous. And you ended the song with an absolute appropriate note. And once again, kudos to District Governor and District Coordinator Sandeep Agarwala and for having thought about this fabulous concept. Keep that energy going, flowing, and may there be more camaraderie among Rotarians.
Thank you so much, Manoj.
Yeah, pleasure.
It was a pleasure.